Hey guys, welcome back as always, my name is Leyzar and today we're checking out Valby. This is an advanced level guide that assumes you already have a good understanding of Valby's mechanics and gameplay style. The stat differences between Valby and Ultimate Valby are minute, the real difference being the exclusive Transcendent Modules that the Ultimate variant can use. Singing Water spawns a turret that taunts enemies and has a bit of hit points. It could be useful, but it has no effect on bosses, and we currently don't have any need to taunt mobs since we can, AoE one-shot them. Tidal Wave does not provide enough damage to be worth it, and not leaving water trails is a huge negative. Water play makes our bubble bullet less clunky, taking away deep burst damage and increasing constant puddle damage, but ultimately, it's a downgrade to the ability. Hydro Pressure Bomb is a new Transcendent exclusive to Ultimate Valby. It changes one of her least useful abilities into a dive bomb that can deal damage in the millions on a 2-ish second cooldown with multi-talented. This is usable for a farming setup, but it requires you to prep your targets with laundry, and ultimately, you're better off using your cleanup for farming as it's faster and more efficient. Spiral Tidal Wave, another Ultimate Valby exclusive, makes her bubble bullet a lot more usable, increases the damage, range, adds free stacks, but also increases the cooldown. It also has the bonus effect of magnetizing Gluttony's orbs as it flies, making it significantly more easier to cool off Gluttony. If you need a guide on him, link in the cards right now. Supply Moisture is her most powerful Transcendent and the one that causes the most confusion. While on water, it increases firearm critical hit rate, attribute trigger rate, skill critical hit rate, and duration. Let's quickly explain how these increases work. The firearm critical rate, trigger rate, and skill critical rate add a flat amount to the base value. This is before mods or weapon rolls. As for skill duration, this one is very simple. It's a flat additive stat, so you just add a flat 10 to whatever you have modded for duration. Out of all her augments, Supply Moisture is the meta way, and it will produce the best bossing results when paired with a fully built weapon, such as Tamer, Python, Enduring Legacy, etc. Simply stand on water and shoot the boss weak points. The gameplay in essence is very similar to a Glaive, but less risky and finicky. To that end, there are a ton of videos covering virtually the same Supply Moisture build, so if that's what you're after, you can watch any one of these. Today, however, we're going to be focusing on Spiral Tidal Wave. The build focuses on spamming Spiral Tidal Wave as much as possible and filling the downtime using cleanup. The rotation is very simple. Spam Spiral Tidal Wave 3 or 4 times depending on how fast you are, then go into your cleanup. By the time its duration is over, you'll be able to spam again at least 3 times Spiral Tidal Wave. Rinse and repeat. To be able to spam consistently, 2 issues need to be addressed: mana and cooldown. Mana is fixed by using energy collection and selective recovery. Note that we're even using MP conversion that reduces MP by 15%, but because of the huge amount of MP recovery, it's not a problem. We also tried going down the route of skill cost reduction and max MP, but ultimately going for high combat regeneration yielded better overall results. A very important note is that you will need a sensor with MP recovery in combat, otherwise the energy collection and selective recovery mods are essentially dead in the water, as they will have no effect. Now, since we're talking about external components, Valby doesn't have a proper ultimate set catered to her, sadly, but you can use the first set bonus from Annihilation for the 5.7% duration. Outside of that, try to get the usual suspects: defense, HP, and on the memory, it's important to get MP recovery modifier. For the reactor, non-attribute with dimension, and you'll want the same for your bonus rolls. Make sure the mounting is active, but don't worry about the weapon build since you won't really be using it much. As you can see from my stats, I don't look very tanky. That's because most of the gameplay time liquefied will be up, which grants you a massive 50% damage reduction. You can solo kill hard mode Devourer, Executioner without any deaths. And since we're talking about solo hard mode bosses, Executioner and Devourer are no problem. Time to kill is approximately 5 to 6 minutes. Dead Bride, Pyro, and Swampwalker are more problematic because of the lava arena that basically counters the build's gameplay style. But all is not lost. Pyro is still soloable in 5-ish minutes thanks to his close-range combat style. Just get him on the left platform and dance around him. You can ignore the frenzy phase entirely, or you can use a sniper rifle on the canister on his back. Swamp Walker is difficult, especially when he decides to stand in lava for large portions of the encounter. And Dead Bride is just straight up a nightmare with this build because of her range combat style. You'll be much better off using a supply moisture build to farm her. Speaking of which, for farming and mobbing, Valby is, well, she's no bunny, which is still the most effective farming Descendant, but that doesn't mean you can't farm like a champ with Valby. You don't even need to spam your Q, instead just glide with cleanup. This tactic is still very effective for Volga's strategic outpost. It did get nerfed, but it's still one of the better gold farms you can do. Valby is an awesome Descendant with subjectively fun gameplay, cute personality, and a whole lot of Transcendent modules. But most of her modules are not worth using, and the tools that she has at her disposal are not favored by the meta. She'd be great for grouping and chokehold clearing corridors, but thankfully we don't do that in the first Descendant. And I say thankfully as an 8,000 hours veteran in Warframe. Trust me, that's a very sad and boring gameplay style, and I'm glad it's not a thing in TFD. Her new Transcendent modules do add some build variety, but if you're after the best bossing build, that is still Supply Moisture by far. Its only downside is the fact that it also requires a strong weapon build in order for it to work. However, not everything needs to be meta, and not everything needs to be the best at what it is, and playing Valby is actually quite fun. As always, my name has been Leyzar, thank you guys so much for watching, like, favorite, share and subscribe only if you enjoy the content, and do consider supporting us using my creator code. There's gonna be a link in the description down below. Until next time, my friends, bye bye!